So the forced expiratory volume is a little bit different than the normal vital capacity and things that we measure. Okay, so in a normal spirometry test, which was what the first lesson was, you can measure the normal lung values, but it doesn't really give you an idea of how fast the person can move air in and out. So as we know, when you have an obstructive airway disease, it's going to affect the speed at which you can move air in and out. And if you have a restrictive airway disease, or restrictive lung disease, it's going to affect the volume of air that you can move in and out. So this next test is actually going to let us test more specifically for restrictive and obstructive lung disease. Okay? So it's really important that you get a full effort from the person that's your subject, because if they don't know how to do the exercise or they aren't really trying, they're going to underestimate their lung volume and they're going to appear to have an obstructive disease when they don't. Okay, so it's important that the subjects do this one correctly. So we're going to have Reed demonstrate, but first we have to calibrate. So let's go ahead and I'll click on it. All right, so as we did before, he's just going to hold it up and run through. Okay, so have the students, before they start this experiment, you can click on these tabs. So she just clicked on the subject tab, and it tells the subject what to do. And then if you click next tab, it tells them what they're going to do in the recording step. And from either tab, they can start the recording. Have them read the subject stuff. So this person, we're going to have you put the mouthpiece in your mouth firmly and pinch your nose. We're not going to use the nose clip unless you want it. So go ahead. And we're going to have him just get used to it for 20 seconds. Okay. Once the 20 seconds is over, we're going to have him breathe normally for 3 breaths. Then he's going to maximally inhale like he did before, but he's going to hold it at the max for about a second. Then he's going to blow out as hard and as fast as he can to get all that air out. And then he's going to do 3 normal breaths. Okay, so I'm going to walk him through that as he goes. All right, so are we ready to start recording? All right, here we go. So we're going to do 3 normal breaths first. Okay, there's done 2. So after this next one, we're going to do a maximal inhale. Remember, I want you to pick your shoulders and your chest up and hold it at the top. You ready? Go, go, go. Hold it. Go, all the way out. Good. Now 3 normal breaths. All right, so press stop. All right, so the reason why we have them hold it, and I had him hold it that extra time, is see we have this nice plateau here. So when he does this, when he begins his forcible exhale, we have a distinct starting point, okay? So we're going to have them zoom in, and the controls for the zoom are up here in this top corner, so it's a little bit different than they were last week, okay? So it says in the lab manual, but the students may say, where's my I-beam? Because remember last week they were over here? They're going to be up in this top corner. So we're going to take the I-beam, actually, sorry, we're going to take the zoom, and we're going to start at the peak and go past his forcible exhale to zoom into that part. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to select to calculate the FEV. What we want to do is we want to measure that period where he was forcibly exhaling. So we want to start up here with our I-beam right where it goes from flatline to starting to exhale. Okay. So there we're going to go and we're going to measure out at least 3 seconds. So can you point to the delta T box? So up there in the delta T box, the highlighted section should be more than 3. If it's not, then they need to redo their data analysis because they didn't get enough of an exhale. Okay, we've got to be able to measure 3 seconds out. All right. Oh, sorry. I have to look at this here. Yeah. So what I've highlighted here is where I want to calculate for my FEV. So I've highlighted the part of the thing that I'm now going to tell my computer this is what I want to analyze for the FEV. So when I click calculate FEV, it's basically going to flip my data, but that's going to allow me to now measure the FEV at different intervals. Okay? And so the lab manual lines out exactly where we're supposed to highlight each of those segments. But the FEV1 is the amount that you can forcibly exhale in the first second. So you're going to highlight the first second. FEV2 is the amount you can highlight in 2 seconds, or the amount you exhale in 2 seconds. And then FEV3 is going to be the amount you can forcibly exhale in 3 seconds. And if you compare that to the total vital capacity, so if you go from the very baseline to up here at the peak, that's the total amount that he can exhale. It's a forced vital capacity. If you use the FEV and put it in a ratio, you can look at how quickly they're exhaling the air, and you can compare that to normal values to look to see if the person has obstructive or restrictive airway disease.